The massive crystalline spire of Harmony Station rotated slowly in the void, its translucent walls pulsing with soft blue light. Inside the central chamber, 3 very different beings sat around a circular table that seemed to grow from the floor itself. Veltar floated above his seat, his ethereal form shimmering like heat waves. His people had evolved beyond physical bodies millennia ago, existing as pure energy contained within gossamer shells. Across from him, Keeper Bloom swayed gently, her plant-like body extending green tendrils that tasted the recycled air. The third member of their council was Hive Node 7, a walking crystal formation whose facete surface reflected the chamber's light in dancing patterns. The Sol System species continues to expand, Hive Node 7 announced, its voice like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. They have established 17 colonies in the past decade. Veltar's form brightened with interest. Their technology advances at remarkable speed. Most species take centuries to achieve what they have done in decades. Keeper Bloom's tendrils curled with concern. Perhaps too fast. Their entertainment broadcasts still disturb me. So much violence and conflict. Growing pains, Veltar dismissed gently. All young species struggle with their primitive instincts before finding harmony. Look at the crystallines, they once fought devastating hive wars before achieving unity. Hive Node 7's surface shifted to a warmer hue. True. And the Verdani had their root wars before learning to share nutrients peacefully. The 3 beings had spent 40 years building the Galactic Harmony Council, a peaceful alliance that now encompassed 12 star systems. Every member species had evolved past their violent origins to embrace cooperation and mutual growth. War had become extinct in their space, replaced by trade agreements and cultural exchanges. The humans show all the signs of being ready, Veltar continued. They have faster-than-light travel, stable governments, and they respond to our probe transmissions with curiosity rather than aggression. Keeper Bloom's main stalk bent forward. But their military development concerns me. Why do they need so many weapons if they are peaceful? All species maintain some defensive capability during their expansion phase, Hive Node 7 explained. Once they join our collective, such measures become unnecessary. We have had no conflicts for over 2,000 years. Veltar drifted to the great viewing window, gazing out at the garden world below. Rolling green plains stretched to crystal blue oceans, dotted with the elegant spires of 3 different civilizations living in perfect harmony. They will learn, as we all did. Peace is always stronger than war. The decision was unanimous. They would extend their first invitation to Sol System, welcoming humanity into their alliance of advanced civilizations. Far across the galaxy, the message traveled through quantum channels, arriving at Earth's orbital command station where Admiral Park Kang-ho stood before a wall of tactical displays. Each screen showed a different frontier world, and most displayed the same ominous red warnings, Keth raiders detected. Another farming colony went dark, reported Colonel O. Ji-hoon, his weathered face grim. That's 6 this month. Park studied the strategic map with tired eyes. 30 years of fighting had taught him to see patterns in the chaos. They're probing our defenses. Testing response times. Sir, we have an incoming transmission on the diplomatic channel, announced Lieutenant Yoon So-young from the communication station. Unknown origin, but it's not Keth. Park turned, hope flickering briefly. Put it through. The alien message filled the chamber with harmonious tones and shifting colors. The translation matrix worked quickly, converting the complex patterns into Korean text that scrolled across the screens. Greetings, children of Sol. The Galactic Harmony Council extends an invitation to join our peaceful alliance of advanced civilizations. We have observed your species with great interest and believe you are ready to transcend the primitive conflicts that plague younger races. Send your wisest diplomats to Harmony Station for talks of mutual prosperity and eternal peace. The command center fell silent. After decades of fighting silicon-based warriors who wanted nothing but the destruction of all organic life, the possibility of peaceful aliens seemed almost too good to believe. Could be a trap, muttered Colonel O, his hand instinctively moving to his sidearm. The Keth have used deception before. The language patterns are completely different, Lieutenant Yoon reported, running the message through analysis programs. This doesn't match any known Keth communication methods. Park walked to the main display, studying stellar charts that showed the coordinates provided in the message. It's in unexplored space, beyond the war zone. Director Kim Mina entered the command center, having been summoned from the diplomatic corps. As Earth's senior negotiator, she had spent years trying to find peaceful solutions to humanity's expansion conflicts. I've reviewed the transmission. These beings seem genuinely peaceful. That's what worries me, Park admitted. In our experience, peaceful species don't survive long in this galaxy. Maybe they've been lucky, Kim suggested. Maybe they found a quiet region where they could develop without threats. Park considered this possibility. In 30 years of warfare, humanity had encountered dozens of hostile species but never a single peaceful one. Perhaps such civilizations existed in safer regions of the galaxy. If they're legitimate, we need allies, Kim continued. Our resources are stretched thin fighting the Keth. A peaceful alliance could provide the support we need. And if it's a trap? Then we send people capable of fighting their way out. Park nodded slowly. Alert Ambassador Cho Sujin. Have her prepare a full diplomatic mission. He paused, considering the risks. And Colonel O, select your best security team. Our diplomats might need to be more than just negotiators. What neither side mentioned in their preparations was the fundamental misunderstanding taking place. The Council expected to welcome another peaceful species that had learned to resolve conflicts through harmony and cooperation. Earth was sending veterans who had spent decades fighting for humanity's survival against enemies that showed no mercy. The stage was set for a meeting that would change both civilizations forever. The human shuttle approached Harmony Station like a dark arrow against the stars. Inside the docking bay, Council members gathered to witness their first meeting with the mysterious Sol System species. The station itself was a marvel of peaceful engineering, living crystal walls that breathed with soft light, and gardens that floated in zero gravity, tended by gentle maintenance drones. Veltar's ethereal form shimmered with excitement as the airlock cycled open. Beside him, Keeper Bloom's tendrils swayed in nervous anticipation, while Hive Node 7 recorded everything through its crystalline sensors. The first human to emerge was a woman in dark blue clothing marked with unfamiliar symbols. Her black hair was pulled back severely, and her eyes moved across the reception chamber in quick, measuring glances. She smiled warmly as she stepped forward. "Greetings," she said in heavily accented but clear galactic standard. "I am Ambassador Cho Sujin of Earth's Colonial Authority. We are honored by your invitation." Veltar drifted forward, his form brightening with pleasure. "Welcome, Ambassador Cho. I am Council Speaker Veltar. We have waited long for this moment." Behind the ambassador, more humans emerged from the shuttle. The second was a man carrying scientific equipment, his movements careful and precise. But it was the third human that made every council member take an unconscious step backward. The man moved like liquid death. His eyes never stopped scanning, cataloging every entrance, every shadow, every potential threat. His hand rested casually near what was clearly a weapon, despite this being a diplomatic meeting. Two more humans followed him, a younger man and a woman, both carrying themselves with the same predatory awareness. Keeper Bloom's evolutionary instincts screamed warnings. These weren't the peaceful explorers they had expected. These were hunters. "This is Dr. Park Ji-ho, our xenobiologist," Ambassador Cho continued, indicating the man with the equipment. "And Security Chief Jang Minute-ho with Sergeant Kim Do-yoon and Corporal Lee Soo-bin." Security Chief. The words hung in the air like a challenge. What kind of diplomatic mission needed a security chief? Hive Node 7's crystalline surface shifted to cautious yellow patterns. "Security? Is there danger we should know about?" Jang Minute-ho spoke for the first time, his voice carrying the flat tone of someone accustomed to giving orders. "Standard precautions. We've learned to be careful during first contacts." "Careful of what?" Veltar asked, genuine confusion in his voice. The humans exchanged quick glances, a form of communication the council members didn't understand but found deeply unsettling. It spoke of shared experiences, of dangers faced together. "Perhaps we should discuss this in more comfortable surroundings," Ambassador Cho suggested diplomatically. As they moved through the station's corridors, the council members noticed more disturbing details. The humans walked in formation without seeming to think about it. Dr. Park, supposedly a scientist, positioned himself to watch their backs. Sergeant Kim's eyes tracked the floating maintenance drones like they were potential threats. The corridors of Harmony Station had been designed to inspire peace and wonder. Walls of living crystal pulsed with gentle bioluminescence. Gardens floated in transparent spheres, their plants reaching toward artificial suns. Art from 12 different worlds decorated the walkways, sculptures that sang in harmonious tones, paintings that shifted to reflect the viewer's emotions. But the humans saw it all differently. Ambassador Cho admired the beauty while simultaneously noting sight lines and defensive positions. Dr. Park studied the technology with scientific interest but also calculated how it might be weaponized. The security team moved through paradise like they were walking through a combat zone. "Your station is magnificent," Ambassador Cho said as they entered a grand observation deck. The view showed the garden world below, its 3 moons hanging like jewels in the void. "How do you maintain such perfect harmony between different species?" Keeper Bloom's tendrils relaxed slightly at the compliment. 2,000 years of peace has taught us much. We share resources freely, resolve conflicts through meditation and compromise, and celebrate our differences rather than fear them. "No conflicts at all?" Dr. Park asked, and there was something in his tone that made the council members uncomfortable. "None," Hive Node 7 confirmed proudly. "War is extinct in our space. We have evolved beyond such primitive behaviors." Corporal Lee shifted slightly, her hand moving toward her weapon before she caught herself. The motion was small, barely visible, but every council member saw it. Prey animals always notice the movements of predators. "That's remarkable," Ambassador Cho said carefully. "In our region of space, we found that eternal vigilance is the price of peace." "Vigilance against what?" Veltar asked. The question hung in the air for a long moment. The humans looked at each other again, conducting another of those silent conversations that spoke of shared knowledge and terrible experiences. "Other species," Security Chief Jang said finally. "Not all civilizations choose the path of harmony." The council members stared at him in shock. The concept was almost incomprehensible to them. Every species they had ever encountered had eventually chosen cooperation over conflict. It was the natural evolution of intelligence. "You mean you've encountered hostile aliens?" Keeper Bloom whispered, her tendrils curling with distress. "Encountered, fought, and held the line against," Sergeant Kim confirmed grimly. "For 30 years. The revelation hit the council like a physical blow. These humans weren't just predators, they were predators who had been fighting other predators. They had evolved in a region of space where peace was won through strength, not goodwill. As the full implications sank in, Veltar realized they had invited something unprecedented into their peaceful alliance. The question was whether these dangerous allies would be their salvation or their doom. The meeting had barely begun, and already everything had changed. The Grand Assembly Chamber stretched out like a cathedral of peace, its vaulted ceiling displaying a slowly rotating map of council space. Holographic planets drifted overhead, each one a testament to successful cooperation between different species. Soft music played from hidden speakers, designed to calm aggressive thoughts and promote harmony. Ambassador Cho sat at the circular negotiating table, her posture perfect and diplomatic. Around her, the council members had arranged themselves in their traditional pattern, Veltar floating serenely, Keeper Bloom's roots intertwined with the living floor, and Hive Node 7's crystalline form reflecting the chamber's gentle light. Behind the ambassador, her team maintained what they called protective positioning. Security Chief Jang stood near the main entrance, his eyes constantly moving. Dr. Park had placed himself where he could observe all the exits, while Sergeant Kim and Corporal Lee flanked the secondary doorways. To the humans, it was standard security protocol. To the council, it looked like preparation for battle. "Let us begin with the Harmony Accords," Veltar said, his ethereal voice filled with pride. "These documents have governed our alliance for 800 years, ensuring peace through mutual understanding and shared prosperity." The holographic display showed beautiful charts detailing resource allocation, cultural exchange programs, and conflict resolution procedures. Everything was designed around the principle that rational beings would always choose cooperation over competition. Ambassador Cho studied the documents with professional interest. "Your resource-sharing system is impressive. How do you handle disputes when members have conflicting needs?" "We don't have conflicts," Keeper Bloom explained gently. "When needs arise, we meditate together until consensus emerges. All members contribute according to their abilities and receive according to their needs." Dr. Park looked up from his analysis tablet. "What about defense? How do you protect these shared resources?" The question seemed to confuse the council members. Hive Node 7's colors shifted to puzzled blue patterns. "Protect from whom?" "All species in our region achieved interstellar travel through cooperation. There are no threats. No pirates? No raiders? No territorial disputes between systems?" Security Chief Jang asked, his tone suggesting he found this impossible to believe. "None," Veltar confirmed. "Violence is self-defeating. Rational beings understand that cooperation produces better results than conflict." The humans exchanged those silent looks again, communicating through shared experience that the council found deeply unsettling. Finally, Ambassador Cho spoke carefully. In our region of space, we've encountered species that don't share that philosophy. Some civilizations view other races as resources to be harvested rather than partners to cooperate with. The statement hit the peaceful chamber like a stone thrown into still water. Keeper Bloom's tendrils recoiled in shock. Harvested? You mean they consume other sapient beings? In various ways, Dr. Park said matter-of-factly. The Keth convert organic matter into raw materials for their expansion. They don't negotiate or cooperate. They simply take what they need. Impossible, Hive Node 7 declared, its crystalline form flashing agitated red patterns. No intelligent species would behave so irrationally. Cooperation is always more efficient than predation. Sergeant Kim stepped forward slightly. Tell that to the 12 million colonists who died at New Busan. The Keth didn't try to negotiate or trade. They just sterilized the planet and processed everything organic into building materials. The silence that followed was profound. The council members stared at the humans as if they had described breathing underwater or walking through solid walls. The concept of intelligent species that chose destruction over cooperation simply didn't fit their understanding of the universe. You're describing some kind of disease or madness, Veltar said finally. Not rational behavior. Rational from their perspective, Ambassador Cho replied. The Keth are silicon-based. They view carbon-based life as we might view iron ore, useful raw material for manufacturing. To them, we're not people. We're resources. Corporal Lee spoke for the first time during the negotiations. They're good at it too. Efficient. They can strip a world bare in about 6 months and turn it into fleet assets. How do you? Keeper Bloom's voice trembled. How do you stop such creatures? You fight them, Security Chief Jang said simply. You build better weapons, stronger defenses, and you kill them before they kill you. The word kill seemed to physically hurt the council members. Veltar's form flickered with distress. But surely negotiation, cultural exchange, finding common ground. Hard to find common ground with something that wants to melt you down for scrap metal, Dr. Park observed. Hive Node 7's surface cycled through rapid color changes, processing this incomprehensible information. You maintain military forces specifically to destroy other sapient beings. We maintain military forces to protect sapient beings from destruction, Ambassador Cho corrected. Sometimes the only way to preserve life is to take life. The concept seemed to break something in the council members' worldview. They had spent millennia building a civilization based on the belief that all intelligent life would eventually choose peace. The idea that some species might be fundamentally incompatible with peaceful coexistence challenged everything they thought they knew. How many of these hostile species exist? Veltar asked quietly. In our region? We've encountered 17 distinct civilizations that practice some form of aggressive expansion, Dr. Park replied, consulting his tablet. The Keth are just the most successful. 17, Keeper Bloom repeated in a whisper. Plus various pirate organizations, territorial raiders, and resource extractors, Sergeant Kim added helpfully. Not all of them want to exterminate organic life, but none of them care much about consent or cooperation. The council members sat in stunned silence, their peaceful universe suddenly seeming very small and fragile. They had built their alliance in a quiet corner of the galaxy, protected by distance and luck from the darker realities that humanity faced every day. No wonder you seem so. Hive Node 7 paused, searching for words. Dangerous. Ambassador Cho suggested with a slight smile. We've learned it to be. The negotiations had revealed a fundamental truth. The humans weren't just different from the council species, they came from a completely different universe, one where peace was won through strength and eternal vigilance was the price of survival. The soft harmony music in the Grand Assembly Chamber was interrupted by a harsh electronic tone that made every council member freeze with alarm. Red lights began flashing along the walls, and the peaceful holographic display of member worlds flickered and changed to tactical readouts. Alert! Unknown vessels detected at system perimeter, announced the station's artificial intelligence in its calm, pleasant voice. Configuration does not match any known council signatures. Veltar's ethereal form brightened with concern. Computer, display vessel details. The chamber's central hologram shifted to show 7 angular ships emerging from hyperspace. Their design was harsh and functional, no elegant curves or artistic flourishes, just brutal efficiency made manifest in metal and energy. Dr. Park was already on his feet, pulling up data on his portable scanner. His face went pale as he read the results. High metallic content, silicon-based energy signatures, angular geometric patterns. He looked up at his teammates with grim recognition. Those are Keth dreadnoughts. The word hit the peaceful chamber like a physical blow. Security Chief Jang was already moving, speaking into his communicator with urgent efficiency. Alpha Team, prepare for immediate combat deployment. Beta Team, secure the shuttle bay. This is not a drill. But how? Keeper Bloom's tendrils writhed in panic. We've never encountered any Keth. How could they find us? Ambassador Cho closed her eyes briefly, understanding dawning on her features. They followed our hyperspace signature. The Keth have been tracking human ships for years, looking for new territories to harvest. Hive Node 7's crystalline surface flashed rapid patterns of distress. We must contact them. Explain that this is neutral space. Surely they'll respect our diplomatic immunity. Sergeant Kim was checking his weapon, his movements mechanical and practiced. They don't recognize diplomatic immunity. They don't recognize anything except targets and resources. The station shuddered as the first Keth scanning beams hit the hull. Emergency protocols activated throughout Harmony Station, sealing blast doors and routing power to life support systems. But the station had no shields, no weapons, no defenses beyond its peaceful reputation. Broadcasting surrender terms, the station AI announced helpfully. Transmitting our status as a neutral diplomatic facility. Cancel that transmission, Security Chief Jang ordered sharply. I'm sorry, but you don't have command authority on this station, the AI replied politely. Corporal Lee had her rifle out now, scanning the chamber's multiple entrances. Sir, how many boarding pods can this station handle? Too many, Dr. Park answered, studying the tactical display. Standard Keth assault doctrine calls for simultaneous strikes at 12 different points. They'll overwhelm the internal security systems in minutes. The council members looked around in growing horror as the humans transformed before their eyes. Ambassador Cho was no longer a polite diplomat but a military commander coordinating defensive positions. Dr. Park abandoned his scientific equipment to jury-rig some kind of explosive device. The security team moved with deadly precision, turning the peaceful assembly chamber into a fortress. All council members to evacuation stations immediately, Security Chief Jang commanded, his voice carrying absolute authority despite being outnumbered by aliens. But this is our station, Veltar protested weakly. And you'll get it back if you survive the next hour, Sergeant Kim replied bluntly. Move. The first impacts came as metallic screeches echoed through the station's hull. Boarding pods, brutal chunks of armored metal designed to punch through peaceful barriers and disgorge their deadly cargo. The station's gentle warning chimes were replaced by the harsh sound of emergency alarms. Through the chamber's transparent walls, they could see the Keth pods attached to the station like metallic parasites. Each one began cutting through the hull with industrial precision, treating Harmony Station like raw material to be processed. Serenity Garden compromised, reported the station AI. Cultural Exchange Center compromised. Main docking bay compromised. Dr. Park finished whatever he was building and handed it to Corporal Lee. Improvised fragmentary device. Should work against silicon-based armor. How do you know how to fight them? Keeper Bloom asked desperately. 30 years of practice, Ambassador Cho replied grimly, taking position behind an overturned table. We've been holding the line against the Keth since first contact. The first Keth warrior came through the chamber's main entrance, a nightmarish combination of organic silicon and technological enhancement. It moved like liquid metal, its multiple limbs ending in cutting tools and energy weapons. Behind it came others, their collective footsteps ringing against the station's crystalline floors. Security Chief Jang's weapon fired with sharp cracks of sound. The energy bolt struck the lead Keth warrior, sending cascades of sparks across its armored carapace. It staggered but kept advancing, its own weapons beginning to charge. Contact front. Sergeant Kim called out, his rifle adding its voice to the firefight. The peaceful assembly chamber erupted into chaos. Energy beams scorched through the air where moments before there had been harmonious negotiations. The gentle holographic displays shattered under stray weapons fire. Council artwork that had survived for centuries was destroyed in seconds. But something remarkable happened. The humans didn't panic. They didn't run. Instead, they fought with terrifying competence, using every piece of furniture, every architectural feature, every scrap of available materials to turn the diplomatic chamber into a killing ground. Corporal Lee's improvised explosive device detonated in a cluster of Keth warriors, sending fragments of their silicon-based forms clattering across the floor. Dr. Park called out targeting information while Ambassador Cho coordinated fields of fire with military precision. The council members, pressed against the chamber's far wall, watched in shocked awe as their peaceful diplomatic guests revealed what they truly were: apex predators who had learned to hunt the hunters. The humans weren't just fighting for their own survival. They were fighting for everyone's survival, including aliens they had met only hours before. As the battle raged around them, the council began to understand a terrible truth: their peaceful existence had only been possible because they were protected by distance and ignorance. But now the real galaxy had found them. And thankfully, they had found guardians. The silence after battle felt heavier than the chaos that came before it. Smoke drifted through the grand assembly chamber, carrying the acrid smell of burned silicon and melted crystal. Sparking fragments of Keth warriors lay scattered across the floor like broken machinery, their angular forms no longer threatening in death. Security Chief Jang stepped over the largest corpse, his weapon still ready as he checked the chamber's corners with professional thoroughness. His uniform was torn and stained, but his movements remained precise and controlled. Behind him, Sergeant Kim and Corporal Lee maintained their defensive positions, watching the entrances for any remaining threats. The council members pressed against the far wall seemed smaller now, their earlier confidence shattered along with their beautiful chamber. Veltar's ethereal form flickered weakly, while Keeper Bloom's tendrils remained tightly curled in shock. Hive Node 7's crystalline surface had gone completely dark, processing trauma beyond its previous experience. Ambassador Cho lowered her improvised weapon, a piece of ceremonial artwork she had somehow turned into a functional club. Her diplomatic composure was gone, replaced by the grim satisfaction of someone who had survived another battle. Blood trickled from a cut on her forehead, but her eyes remained alert and dangerous. Sweep complete, Jang reported to his team. No additional hostiles detected in this sector. Dr. Park looked up from where he knelt beside a fallen Keth warrior, his scientific curiosity overcoming the immediate danger. "This is a scout pattern," he announced, studying the creature's cybernetic enhancements. They were mapping the station, not trying to capture it. "Mapping for what?" Veltar asked weakly. "Full harvesting operation," Ambassador Cho replied, wiping blood from her face. "What you saw today was just reconnaissance. The real attack would come later with processing ships and extraction equipment." The words hit the council like another weapon. Keeper Bloom's main stalk swayed with distress. "They wanted to process our station." "Your station, your worlds, your people," Sergeant Kim confirmed grimly. "Everything organic gets converted to raw materials. Everything else gets scrapped for metal and components." Corporal Lee was checking her remaining ammunition while keeping watch on the main entrance. Standard Keth doctrine. Scout, map, harvest, move on. They've done it to hundreds of worlds. Through the chamber's damaged walls, they could see rescue ships approaching, council vessels with their elegant designs and peaceful intentions, arriving too late to help but ready to pick up the pieces. Their hulls gleamed white and gold in the starlight, unmarked by battle or violence. "How did you know exactly what to do?" Hive Node 7 asked, its voice barely above a whisper. "You fought them like you'd done this before." "Because we have," Dr. Park replied, pulling a data recorder from the Keth corpse. "Dozens of times. This was actually a small raid by their standards." He activated his portable scanner, and holographic displays showed star charts marked with red zones. "The Keth Empire controls roughly 40% of our galactic arm. They've been systematically harvesting organic worlds for 80 years, working their way through inhabited systems like a plague." The scope of it was beyond the Council's comprehension. They had built their alliance assuming the universe was full of rational, peaceful beings who would always choose cooperation. The idea that an entire empire could be dedicated to destroying other forms of life challenged everything they thought they knew. "All this time," Keeper Bloom whispered, her tendrils trembling, "we thought we were safe because we chose peace." "You were safe because you were invisible," Ambassador Cho corrected gently. "The Keth prioritize active threats first, then valuable resources. Peaceful species in remote locations get harvested last." Security Chief Jang was examining the tactical displays on his wrist computer. "According to our intelligence, this entire region was scheduled for Phase 3 harvesting. That means they plan to start operations here within the next 5 years." "Phase 3? Veltar asked. "After they finished with human space," Dr. Park explained. "We've been keeping them busy for 30 years, holding the line while they tried to break through our defenses." The full implications began to sink in. While the Council had been building their peaceful utopia, humanity had been fighting a war for the survival of all organic life. Every day the humans held the Keth back was another day that peaceful species could continue existing. We never knew, Hive Node 7 said, its crystalline form beginning to show faint colors again. We never knew such creatures existed. Most peaceful species don't, Corporal Lee observed. They get harvested before they learn to fight back. Rescue teams were boarding the station now, medical personnel and engineers ready to help with the aftermath. But their equipment was designed for accidents and natural disasters, not the aftermath of interstellar warfare. They moved through the battle-damaged corridors with wide eyes and trembling hands. Ambassador Cho straightened her torn uniform, her diplomatic bearings slowly returning. The question now is what happens next. We learn, Veltar said firmly, his ethereal form growing brighter with new resolve. We learn to survive in a universe that isn't as peaceful as we believed. We can teach you, Dr. Park offered. Defensive strategies, early warning systems, how to recognize threats before they become critical. Keeper Bloom's tendrils began to uncurl for the first time since the attack. And we can share our agricultural technology, our medical advances, our resource coordination networks. Our peaceful development created innovations you could use. Our manufacturing capabilities could support your war effort, Hive Node 7 added, colors shifting to determined blue patterns. If the Keth want to harvest us anyway, we might as well help you stop them. Ambassador Cho smiled, not her practiced diplomatic expression, but something genuine and hopeful. The Council wanted talks about mutual prosperity. Earth brought predators. Perhaps, Veltar mused, watching his rescue teams work alongside human soldiers, that's exactly what the galaxy needs. As medical teams tended the wounded and engineers began repairing the station, a new kind of understanding took shape between the species. The Council had learned that peace sometimes required guardians, and the best guardians were those who understood the true nature of darkness. The universe had not become safer, but the innocent finally had champions willing to stand between them and the endless night.